Hey everyone, Jerry White, the founder of Bronson Creative and the director of Seize the Carp. Today we're going to break down another scene from my third feature film, Seize the Carp. So let's get into it. So this sequence here happened on about day 5 or 6. So if you don't know anything about the film, you're finding this just by accident. Hopefully you're finding it because you scanned the back of the DVD and found these special features. But when we made this film, one of the things we had to consider was we were going to be filming it in sequence. So we took a road trip from Los Angeles to San Francisco. And so this is actually my wife's family. It's a real dinner. And so nobody in this is performing really besides the 2 actors. Everybody else is just being themselves. So that's my wife's grandfather right there. Her mother is actually the head that you see behind us right now. And so we wanted to capture this story on film or digital, however you want to say it, but we wanted to film it, and we wanted to capture this sequence while they were at dinner for the first time. So Charles that played Casey had never met this family, so Charles or Casey, the character or the actor, and so it was fun to be able to get on there and be able to see these stories play out. So Paul Harwood, so rest in peace. He was telling these stories, and I'd heard them multiple times, thought they were really funny, and so I thought it just kind of played into the family aspect of the film and capturing that. So one of the things that was very difficult about this is we only had 1 camera. So while this sequence takes about 5 minutes in totality, we filmed for close to an hour with 1 camera. So we had to get very, very good at deciding what was important in the sequence, what wasn't. And I think as a filmmaker, that really challenged me and Kenny, the cinematographer, to consider where do we put the camera, where do we film, where do we take the chance to move the tripod to get away into another frame and things like that. And so this was about day, I think 4 or 5 in the 7 days that we filmed. And so it was getting closer to the end, but one of the things we had to consider was how was this going to get edited together. I didn't know how long it was going to be. As you know, if you've seen any of the other pieces, the film was completely improvised, and so we didn't write any of the script beforehand. We just kind of went out with our game plan for what the sequence was and what it needed to be. And as a filmmaker, I really wanted to challenge myself to be able to see what happens when you remove yourself as you get on set. If I've done everything in pre-production, which I kind of preach if you're one of my students or you've ever met me, is I think it all gets fixed or gets completed in pre-production. And so if we're really communicating our ideas effectively early on, then it's easier to get that across when we're working. Because if we're doing this, we only have an hour, it's a real dinner, we had to wait for all the food to get done. And I also didn't want to interrupt anything because I wanted it to be as organic as possible. And so, and with an improvised film, that's very difficult to keep it into that organic nature. Especially when you're working with non-actors. We're working with my wife's grandparents, we're working with family members and things like that. And so, Casey and Rachel, the 2 characters that are about to be on screen, there's Casey, they were improvising. So they were trying to lead it as much as possible, but they also had a lot of information that the other people at the table didn't have. We'd already done the road trip. We'd already gotten closer to San Francisco, all these things. So we'd had all these stories that were in the movie universe, but may not actually be what was being communicated on the day. So we had a little bit of that kind of raw authenticity of the confusion of when a conversation breaks down. We had all those kind of things. So, and then we had Deezy right here that was just a really, really funny joke. And so that she really kind of leaned into the aspect of us having this conversation and the real things that would happen. Also, these kind of jokes right here where you just don't know what's going to happen, and that's part of being, at a family dinner. So, at a family dinner, excuse me. So, we wanted to get all these little stories too, because more importantly than the film was I wanted to capture a family. And so I really wanted to capture this family specifically, my wife's family, because I had had a lot of really, really fun dinners where we just sat and joked. We just sat and had fun. We just sat and listened to these stories. Even if you've heard them a bunch of times, I'm sure you can, just as like you're with your grandparents and things like that, you've heard the stories over and over again, but it's always nice to see them through a new eye. And so, and hear them through just like a a new lens with somebody that had never been there, like the Tango Benango that's happening right now. And so this is one of my favorite ones. It was so hard to not laugh when you're going through the Itsy Bitsy Spider, especially when it goes silent. And so we took that as just an opportunity to like have like this real pure joy. And while this is a great sequence in the movie, I think what's even more important is now this is a memento for the family, and so that they have this forever. And what I think is very cool about film is it will live on forever, and that's part of the reason that I've started putting everything on physical media. So you'll find that you can watch these scenes broke down like this, but I'm really leaning into physical media because I think that is what's going to be the longevity of the film, of art form, of cinema. And so I really urge you, if you are considering, you know, supporting local artists and things like that, to actually go buy their work. And so I know that's coming from me as an artist and that has made these things, but you know, I would make these with or without making money on them, but to continue doing it or to do it quicker or to less time between it, you know, it really does take the support of the community. It takes the support of people like you to buy a copy of the DVD, to share it with people, to subscribe to this YouTube, to really take the time to understand that there are real people making your art, and without you, it's just not possible to keep making it. So, well, this is a great scene in this film. I think what's more important is that this will live on forever, and that's what's really exciting to me. So I thank you for stopping by. Check out some of the other director's commentaries. I have some for all three of my films. If you found this because you bought a copy of the feature off of BronsonCreative.us, then thank you for supporting a real artist, supporting me, supporting the people that worked on this film. It allows me to keep doing these things. It allows me to keep providing the information, sharing what it really takes to be a filmmaker in the 21st century. And so, and if you haven't bought a copy of it, I urge you to. BronsonCreative.us, they're all $10, and so you'll get a copy of the film, and then you can watch all these other scene breakdowns as well. And whenever you make your own film, I hope you'll share it with me. So, because I look forward to buying your copy on DVD as well. And if you need help with getting it on DVD, reach out to me, and I'd love to help you. So I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you again soon.